Sometimes we ask questions in a very simple, direct way. Who are you? What time is it? But if we want to sound more polite, then we sometimes have to be indirect. We can do this with the phrase like to know and wh-pronouns. What are wh-pronouns? Well, they are what, which, who, whom, and whose. Let's look at 5 examples. I'd like to know what else I have to do. He'd like to know which speaker will give their presentation first. They'd like to know who will be there to represent us at the seminar. I'd like to know whom you put in charge of finishing these tasks. She'd like to know whose responsibility it is. Before we continue, there is one very important thing to notice. These 5 sentences don't have question marks. That's because they are less direct and are really used as introductory phrases. Technically, they are not really questions, but they do function as questions. It is possible to make them more like questions if we change them a little. For example, would you like to know whose responsibility it is? Would you like to know what else you have to do? They are still indirect questions, but they are more obvious than before. Who versus whom. As we're talking about wh-pronouns, let's quickly look at the difference between who and whom. We can use who and whom in both direct and indirect questions. We use whom as the object form of who. Let's look at our previous example. I'd like to know whom you put in charge of finishing these tasks. The speaker is asking about the person that was put in charge. This person receives the action of the verb and is the object of the sentence. When this happens, we use whom instead of who. We sometimes change the order of the words when we use whom. Here's an example. To whom are you going to give this responsibility? The preposition often goes before whom. I'd like to know from whom you heard this information. This can sound very formal sometimes and is not so common in everyday language. If you'd like to know what to do to improve your English, keep going.